I'm just going to real quick. I just wanted to come on really quick. I'm doing a thorough spring cleaner in the fall. Spring cleaning in the fall. And I really just have a few hours to get a lot of stuff done because I want to be all settled down and don't want to be bothered with any of this when Mr. gets home. And I don't have anybody set to be on this week, so I'm going to spend the time to do a thorough spring cleaning. Prayers and energies of organizations be with me. But in the meantime, while I was doing said spring cleaning, I ran into all the drugs that your pharmaceutical industries have been encouraging y'all to be addicted to. Y'all know my grill is jacked, or maybe you don't know, because a lot of people throughout my life have looked at me and told me how pretty my teeth are. But I get it, because maybe on the surface or at first glance, or maybe when they see me, they feel my energy and my energy effect, maybe they don't realize that they actually use their power, because as you know, someone's energy can make them attractive or unattractive to me. It can be a person that y'all see as gorgeous, okay, that is a mud duck to me, because the only way she gonna get beautiful is if she can eat her makeup and beautify herself from the inside out. But that's neither here nor there. I just ran into all these things that different people have so generously offered me to manage pain and recovery time. So generously. So you can't get a dime bag no more. But if you go have your teeth clean, you can have your opioid addiction, you can have your dealer right in your pocket, girl. They'll be happy. They'll be obliged to offer you addictive man-made chemicals to fuck you up. But as you embrace and ingest these things, keep in mind that that same person is going to be the one to side-eye you when you start coming for regular refills, like you were trained to do. They're going to be side-eyeing you like, I can't give you a refill. You know you're addicted, right? You know you're a junkie, right? And the person's like, no, I just took the prescription that you gave me. And they side-eyeing you like, a junkie. And they looking at you like they not the person, like they not the dealer, like they not the person that introduced you to these drugs that you may or may not have even needed, okay, to begin with. So, didn't mean to go on that rant. Well, yes, I did. Because most of these things have come from simple procedures for which I did not need these medications. To reaffirm that I didn't need these medications, they are still here in full because I refused to take them. Even in situations where I told a physician that, I like to avoid using prescriptions because I hear all these addictive horror stories and I do not want to be the one. You know what they'll say? Oh, well, we can give you the half dose. Oh, so you're going to get me hooked on it slower? Thanks. This lets me know that you care. Yeah, so this is obviously a farmco rant. And I'm not going to be able to tag it if I want anybody to come watch it because YouTube and Google and Facebook, mainstream media, social media, okay, all Trump Americans in general, company owners, Fortune 500s, girl, mom and pop shops that ain't shit and it's using corporate measures to build their business as opposed to just good old service and respect for your patrons. Because that's what business used to be indicative of. Now it's just whatever gets you that extra dollar. Anywho, yeah, I just want to show you guys these. Here's one of the bags. And these are just mine. Mr. got a ton of them too. These are just mine. These. Why don't I tell you my thought process behind these? Oh, first let me tell you the story time since it's all about this. So I went to visit my cousin, and he went to the doctor's, and I escorted him to the doctor. So, and it was a new doctor. And so the doctor ran through a list of questions, the basic questions they ask you. And so I always tell him, I was like, you gonna tell her you smoke weed? I always want to know, you gonna tell him you smoke weed? Because I'm always surprised at who he does mind knowing and who he doesn't mind knowing. The people that I would think that he wouldn't want to tell, and I would, he's like, oh, I don't care. I don't care. I'm grown. Because the other people that, I thought that you wouldn't care and didn't mind knowing that you smoke, you like, oh, don't tell them I smoke. So, I'm kind of confused on who should and shouldn't know you smoke. But he was at his new doctor. He ran down a list of questions for him, and one of the questions was, do you do illicit drugs? Since marijuana is factually not an illicit drug, he said no. But it was right on his records that she acted. Why are doctors acting like they don't have your history right in front of them when they ask you questions? They made you transfer your information over to them. And the only way you would need to ask me some of this shit is if you didn't bother to look at the very shit that you had me to have other people to send you, rather than calling them your monkey ass self. That's what business is today. We got to do the professional's job for them in order for it to come out well. You gotta do their job, and it comes out well, and then you had a good experience. But if you think about that good experience, half the time it was because you stepped up, you followed up, you followed through, you made adjustments, you made suggestions. Then it became what, you know. But anyway, so she asked him, do you do illicit drugs? He said no, because marijuana is not illicit. And so then she said, do you do recreational drugs? You know, well, I don't know how I can't remember how she worded, but it was a word that didn't mean illicit. Because after he said no and she saw it right on there, she knew she had to find another way to ask. So she found another way to ask. And he said, yes, I do. And so she said, how often? And he said, every night that I can. It helps to help me sleep. Because that's what he does. He really does. He doesn't even do it to be high. If you do it, you sure don't do it to go to sleep, to help you sleep, right? If you're doing it to get high, you want to be high and goofy in front of people. You don't do it to go to sleep. If you do it to go to sleep, that's strictly medicinal. So he said every night that I can to help me sleep. So she went into her brainwashed disdain and strongly discouraged him from, well, you know, you might want to consider not using marijuana because it can damage your cells. I was there. The doctor said this. It can damage your cell. This bitch is on some reefer madness type. Oh, original war on drugs, racist brainwash. So she aggressively discouraged him from, you know, you shouldn't do that for his own good, right? She aggressively discouraged him from doing that. So much that she ultimately was like, well, I don't guess I can, you know, convince you not to. And he was like, no. He put his hand up like, let's don't. After which, she proceeded to assertively proposition him with a sleep aid prescription, bitch. Don't smoke marijuana to help you sleep. But let me prescribe you this man-made chemical that will kill you slowly. Maybe quickly, but that will kill you slowly. And or that you can become addicted to. And then it further proceeds to kill you. Really? I promise you, this bitch was like almost mad that he smoked marijuana and was comfortable with it, followed by an offer of a prescription sleep aid. And that's not even the kicker, bitch. That's not even the kicker. The kicker is, on the way out, they were having light banter about regular life. I don't remember what led into it, but he asked her if she drank coffee. Because it wasn't, and I'm glad, because I wouldn't want her to catch how related it is to the poison that she wanted to offer. He had an eloquent way of basically saying, I think it's pretty interesting that people are okay to be alcoholics, because I really can't see you discouraging me from drinking. It's on there that I drink often. I don't see you discouraging me from becoming an alcoholic. These are my thoughts when I'm in the office. When I hear a doctor talk like this, I'm sitting there thinking, I know he put on there that he drinks all the time, and not once have you discouraged him from drinking liquor and becoming an alcoholic. It runs in the family. It could hit him. But no, you don't want him smoking marijuana. That's the thing that will dead human cells. Let you tell it. Let your teachings, let your education tell it. Education tell it. Oh, yeah, so on the way out of the door, there was some light banter going on, and there was a door open where he asked, do you drink coffee? And so she's like, does my breath smell? Because she was afraid that, you know, coffee and cigarettes can make your breath smell. So she was like, does my breath smell? But long story short, turns out the answer was basically, oh, yeah, because I need my coffee every morning. I think they were talking about some slip-up that happened with the records or something. And so he was saying, well, she probably didn't have her coffee. You know, everybody needs their coffee. Mental fart that somebody had in the office. And he was about to say, and so he was thinking maybe she didn't have a coffee. You know, some people need their coffee in the morning before they can be counting on to do anything. And so in leading up to that, he asked her if she drank coffee. So she was like, oh, does my breath smell? He was like, oh, no. He was like, I was just going to say, maybe she needs her coffee. Maybe she just had a little slip up because she hadn't had her coffee yet. That early in the morning. She basically could relate to that, so she was like, yeah, because I need my coffee every morning. Are y'all with me on this? Are y'all with me on this? Because this is the same lady who was dead set opposed to him smoking weed because it damaged cells. The same lady who knows he drinks way more than he gets a hold of some weed and is able to smoke it, but is not discouraging of him becoming an alcoholic. This is what Trump America has taught the physicians. And I don't even know who to tell you to trust. Because you could find someone that you absolutely love, who absolutely can pinpoint some of your physical health issues. And that same mother can be equally brainwashed. Where they thrive in one area, in another area, they could be conditioned to do not what's best for you, but what's best for the decision makers. Whoever those privileged people may be. It's not necessarily in your best interest. Don't go telling your doctor that you love. The tough love indigo said you don't love me. She said you don't love these hoes. I mean, I am saying that, but don't go telling them that I said that. And don't you just take it to heart. Do your own due diligence. That's the beauty of my videos. I'm putting all your eggs in a human basket. And then once you do your due diligence, if you happen to run across a human that's being real with you consistently, then maybe that's a human that you can trust. And not just being real with you, being morally balanced. Because real talk, Kanye has been real with y'all. Kim has been real with y'all. She been a racist since when y'all first made her famous. And now there are literally black girls and adult age females running around here with the Kardashian contour. I told y'all, when I see somebody with a Kardashian, don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. It's a specific contour, and it looks a specific way every time. You know what it is, and it has a highlight on the little nose right here. The highlight, it don't have your style on it. It ain't your style. That's some Kardashian shit that everybody has adopted as the common Western perspective of beauty. That Kardashian contour, and also okay, if you gonna act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Your favorite makeup artist, your favorite makeup YouTuber. I guarantee you there's a 99.9% chance that your favorite makeup YouTuber, cosmetic YouTuber, actively uses on a regular basis the Kardashian contour method. Act like you don't know what I'm talking about if you don't want to. Kardashian ain't even look like a Kardashian. She got all this done. And I think I've already posted a video of the other rant where I was saying if I pay all that money for some cosmetic surgery, which I ain't gonna do, but if I paid all that kind of money for cosmetic surgery, bitch, I ain't gonna then need 4 hours of 3 inches of foundation to make it pop just right. I ain't gonna need all that because I really am gonna wake up like this. Because I paid to wake up like this. But y'all get them to cut on y'all and y'all still gotta doctor that shit up. I mean, you still gotta wake up after you got your fake ass Brazilian butt lift and put your waist trainer on. Why? You didn't pay that motherfucker enough to suck the shit out to where you don't have to touch it. You should wake up with it like it's supposed to be. It's too much money to have to do so much extra stuff. You still gotta do as much as I gotta do. Still. How did I go from farmco to Kardashian? Because they all doing the same thing. They all killing us. They all exploiting us and murder and genociding us. And the reason why they're all in the bags is because they train you then. After they get everybody hooked on all these medications, they then realize that everybody's throwing them away, so they're getting in the water. So even people who aren't prescribed the medications are on the medications, unbeknownst to them, because they're just drinking water out from the system. So low-key, Flint is not the only genocide that is actively happening in this country. It's not the only government-sanctioned, I might add, genocide happening in Trump America. I couldn't even bring myself to say the USA and say the words out instead of the letters. I can't even bring myself to say that as a complete phrase in this day and age. Hydrocodone. That's codeine, y'all. Hydrocodone. Codeine. Dexam? I don't know what that is or what it's for. It might be an antibiotic. Antibiotics too. And yeah, our bodies do respond to them, but I'm just saying, you don't even have to be a brainiac. You don't have to be academically superior to use your basic common sense and logic. But you do have to use it, and you have to use it in such a way that releases your acceptance of all the bullshit that you have been fed, but that's hard to do, so never mind nothing I just said. But this right here, for pain, take for pain. Acetaminophen with codeine. Girl. They wanted me on codeine, didn't they? This is over the course of a few years. Hydrocodone. The big bottles, all the big bottles are hydrocodone. Codeine. Vicodin. Yeah, I remember those. Vicodin. Man, if people knew how much Vicodin I had, they would jack me so fast. I don't want to put it. I don't want to put it down the toilet or the sink because I don't want people who are not addicted to drugs to become addicted to drugs. I don't want their drugs in my water, even though it probably is, because who besides me is actually putting the medication away until they can find a proper way to dispose it. And it doesn't matter if I learn the proper way to dispose it, because let's say that the proper way to dispose it is to take it to a central location, like say the fire station, the firehouse, and that they'll dispose of it for you. Well, I don't trust that, because I believe, because I've already said how I've already revealed to you who, I can't say, I'm not going to take credit for that, because they ain't finna come get me, because I don't woke people up. But farmco has revealed to me that they can't be trusted. But so far, I don't trust to be able to put all those medications at there and they not give it back to farmco. The fire station not give it back to the pharmaceutical industry to redistribute, reintroduce into society. Are these the same strength? No, they're not the same strength. And I know why they're not the same strength. I have a couple of bottles of Vicodin from the same visit. What had happened was, it was such a minimal procedure that I was given this for that when they offered the prescription, I told them, I was like, well, I really don't. I told you at the beginning of this video. Somebody drove by. I told you at the beginning of this video that how I feel about it, right? It's no secret. When I was originally propositioned this particular visit, prescription for Vicodin, I was like, well, I really like to avoid taking medications if I can, because, I've heard so many horror stories. I've actually said that word for word, because I say that a lot when seeing physicians. So I was like, I really like to avoid taking. So to accommodate my declining the prescription for Vicodin, he said, okay, well, why don't I just give you a half dose, and then you can take that. He didn't say, let me write you a prescription of just a couple of pills then, and you can have it on hand, and if you feel like you need it at the last minute, then you can, or if you, are in extreme discomfort, you feel like you can't handle it, then you can take it. No, he said, let me prescribe for you a half dose. So, again, I might have covered this earlier in the video then, because I remember saying that to y'all. I remember saying that he said, well, why don't I just give you a half dose? Not half the number of pills, same number of pills, but just the milligrams cut in half. Or less because it's not half, it's actually three-fourths. It's not even, I didn't even count the milligrams because I wasn't interested in taking them at all. So it's not even in half, it's actually 75% of the same amount. So it just makes me wonder, why would you want me on a prescription that I've clarified that I'm uncomfortable with, and why I'm uncomfortable with it? What if I was prone to addiction? So I basically told you I don't want to get addicted to it, and you was like, okay, well then let me give you a little less, just a little less, because it's almost still the same amount. It's infuriating when you think about it. And we go out into the real world and we're like, what's wrong with people? Like, what the fuck? Everybody's on drugs. I literally haven't taken any of those over the years. And still got everything done that I needed to get done. The only prescriptions I've actually taken are a few antibiotics. I took the full time I was supposed to take them because I didn't want no trouble. Because I have endured pulmonary embolism and had to be on blood thinners for a long time. These I brought. These are prescriptions. I had a dental procedure. Well, dental procedures. And so I was provided these to rinse with. Not at the same time. These are two different occasions. That's a big bottle, ain't it? Like, that was a lot of stuff. Or it is a lot of stuff because I didn't use it. You know what I rinsed with? You know what I rinsed with after procedure, girl? Yeah. I know I have adults watching my channel, so I know y'all know what I rinsed with after the procedures. And I considered it. I considered using it as instructed. You can see I paid for it because I have it here. But I didn't use these because in both cases, probably at least a year apart, in both cases, I thought, you always remember your mom saying, just rinse your mouth out with warm salt and water. Real country like that. Just rinse your mouth out with warm salt and water. Rinse it out with warm salt water. Or even if you got a sore throat, go gargle with warm salt and water. Warm salt and water. And y'all's oil pulling is my peroxide soak. I recently tried oil pulling because I had special oil to use. But rather than sit with some oil in my mouth for 15 minutes, that's a long time. Rather than do that, I just assume soak it in a little cap full of peroxide for about 2 minutes. That's just me. I do stuff differently. Y'all know it's crazy. I'll soak for peroxide for about 2 minutes, and then I'll brush with baking soda. If anybody's interested, I think I may have done a video, but it was so long ago, like 2009 or some shit. But anyway, those are little shits that I do. But anyway, my thought process was, well, you know, your country people always told you go gargle with some warm salt water. So I was like, why would warm salt water not do whatever this is supposed to do? So what I did, instead of use these poisons that farmco assigned to me, was gargle with warm salt water. I wonder what this would have really done. I wonder what kind of damage, if any. It might not have done any damage, but I wonder what kind of damage this would have really done. Sometimes I'll be on some Black Mirror type shit, and I'm like, how would they get me? Other than sugar addiction. We all know that's how they got me. But, like, if they just decided to get me, how would they get me? Because I don't bother nobody. I mind my business. And so it makes me wonder, would they go as far as to find my doctor, and then have a doctor, like, say, the good news is we jumping all over the place because you can't find a good doctor. You can't find a decent doctor. You can't find a humane doctor. In a way, that's horrible news. But in a way, it's good news, because then if there is some sort of conspiracy actively happening, they don't know which doctor to tell to implant me. Because there's so much going on. We all over the place. Because we reading all these hoes and know that they are on some bullshit. So what would they do? Would they find the doctor that we settle on and say, tell her she needs a colonoscopy? I'm not saying that human anal probing is a thing. I'm just saying that literally nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. But now that by the time I post this video, y'all might as well, you junkies, don't try to jack me, because I will have discarded the long been discarded these drugs. Because these are drugs right here. And I don't do drugs. Well, all right. Y'all won't believe how long I left this camera rolling. Or maybe you will. Speaking of farmco, just say no, boys and girls.